Well, welcome to the Beef Teaching Farm. Today we're going to go over a little bit about how we get our breeding season put together. For me, the breeding season is going to start in the winter. That's really when I'm going to take that time and select the bulls that we're going to use and select the genetics that we want to use going forward for that year. By that time, we've had enough time to go around, whether it's looking at progeny out in Denver, looking through bulls through semen catalogs, or just looking at other people's calves from sire groups that we like. We're going to pick those bulls out mainly in the winter, so in the spring I have an idea of the sires that I'm going to use. The next thing that we have to do is design that calving season for the upcoming year, and that really all for me is going to start in the spring as those cows are calving. I'm going to look at what my calving distribution is. My calving season should be fairly tight. For us, it's about a 62-day calving season. I'll explain the reason that it's not a set number here as we get further into this video. So we're going to start with our replacement heifers. So we're going to breed our replacement heifers to calve one heat cycle ahead of our main cow herd. The reason for that is that from a replacement heifer standpoint, we have a lot of challenges coming forward for that animal in her lifetime. She's still growing. We're trying to get her bred. After she calves for the first time, if we got her bred within that window, she then has to continue growing and raise a calf and get bred back. So she's got some challenging years ahead of her. By starting her one heat cycle earlier than the rest of our cow herd, what it does is that if by chance she's not ready, if we mess up in the management, we have a better chance of her not falling out of our calving window or our calving distribution that way by getting late. If we only gave her 2 chances in our breeding window to get bred, that can be pretty tough sometimes, especially if we've had a set of heifers that we might not have been on our A game with nutritionally wise. Maybe they were a little bit lighter. Maybe they weren't at our targeted body weight goals for them. There's just a whole host of problems that could go on. Maybe we just had bad heats on them. So that way we give ourselves a little bit of cushion on there. That's those heifers one free pass that they're going to get on this operation is that we're going to breed them one heat cycle ahead of the main cow herd. So then following that, I need to look at what my calving distribution was like that year. I want to catch those cows with enough days of postpartum. You can work with your veterinarian on that. For how many days you need to. There's some of your AI technicians and that are going to have differing opinions on that. So I'm going to group those cows up, and it usually works out to be about how we kick our calves out into our calving groups as we talked about our calving season management. That's also partially to design my breeding groups. So how I kick those big groups of calves out, that usually ends up being a breeding group. And we'll have some cows that we will have to sort, but for the bulk of it, it'll be that big group of cows. Then we're just going to design it through that way. We use a lot of synchronization protocols here to synchronize those groups. So we'll have a group of heifers synced up, and usually about 1 to 3 groups of cows then. And we might have a group of later cows that we might just put a bull out with right away so that we can get them caught back up and we don't waste any time so they don't slip any further back into that breeding season. We don't want to breed every cow on this farm on the same day because we're going to have a bunch of cows calving within a week that way. So we want to split that up because I'm designing that calving season. I also want to give myself enough time in between AIing and cleanup bull turnout that we can differentiate between who is bred when. If I breed cows AI and kick my cleanup bull out the same day, there's no way to differentiate what the cleanup bull got. Maybe we just did a bad job AIing something, or if you have a cleanup bull breeding cows still yet that day after you kick them out. I like to wait 10 days after we AI and then the cleanup bulls go out. That's kind of my rule of thumb. By doing that, when I'm looking at my calving distribution, I don't have very many situations where I'm questioning if it's an AI calf, if she goes late, or did she just calve that early as a bull bred. So it really helps us during calving season to determine what the sire is without having to do a DNA test on that animal.